Okay, so in here we're going to be learning this time how we say where you live and how to ask others where they live. As you can see here, we've got donde vives or donde vive. Donde vives meaning where do you live, and then you would say vivo en, and then you choose your city or your country. Vivo en Barcelona. ¿Y tú dónde vives? Vivo en Canadá. As you can see, the way we express that actually changes according to who you're talking to or about. And let's learn then how that actually works. So we're going to go and have a look first at the verb to live, vivir. Right, so that's the verb to live. And what we're going to be doing is just if we take the verb vivir, and then we get rid of the ending, which is ir, we are left with the stem. So all the verbs in Spanish end with ar, er, or ir. And so this is called an infinitive. An infinitive is a verb in its pure form, which is in English is to live, to go, to write, to drink, to eat, to etc. Right? That's the form, the pure form. If it was conjugated, you would say she eats, right? The verb changes. So in Spanish, when we've got the verb in its pure form, we actually have three different ways for that. So as I said, AR, ER, and IR groups. Now, when I say that we remove the ending, the IR ending, and then we take what's left, and that's what we're going to use to add all the subsequent endings. That works for all three groups, right? We've got viv in this group, we've got beb in this other group, and we've got able on the first group. Okay, so that's how the change is going to work. So we could say then here that to say this is called the present. The present is when you're talking about things that are true general statements or things that you do on a daily basis and so on. So we're going to say that this is the stem plus the ending, okay, plus the ending that is relevant to each of the groups. Now, this is only for regular verbs. And the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs is that there is a group of verbs that will actually be changing the stem as well. I know it's really annoying, and if you ask me, really unnecessary, but that's just how it is. Okay, so we're going to take the stem viv and then we're going to add the ending. Now, the reason we have different endings for each verb form is so that we don't have to say all the time the whole yo, tu, etc., because it's implied within. Now, as you can see, in a way here, we're economizing because to drink, because ER and IR are exactly the same, except for the one that's underlined in there. That only changes the E with the I in there, and that's it. Everything else is the same. So, in a way, we're lucky that there aren't that many changes there. And then with AR, the endings are exactly the same. It's only the A that changes. Okay, so I've summarized it here. You've got all three verbs in here. Let's put them in the center. And the first ending is O. The second one is S or as. Then the third one is the vowel itself only, E or A. Then the next one is imos, hemos, amos, and the final one is en and an. As I explained in the call earlier, I don't teach any minorities, and most people will refer to you lot using they. So this is how we change the verbs in the present If we want to ask someone, where do you live? We're going to go, right? Because I'm asking you. So I'm like, where do you live? Dónde vives, right? Notice that in English, you actually need several words to give meaning to your verb. Because if we said it was in the past, you would change do for did, right? You would say, where did you live? Whereas in Spanish, we do everything with just one word. Vivo en Canberra. ¿Y tú? So that's pretty much the lesson on how vivo vives works, but we've actually added in the all the endings and how the present tense works in general.